Blessings. In the spirit realm, there are no walls like we see in this realm, in the physical realm. Every house is governed. Every house is governed by certain spirits. Every home is governed by certain spirits. Those certain spirits, they are what influenced you as you were growing up, they what molded you as you were growing up, they taught you as you were growing up, and they gave you the information that you know now, about your home, regulations and rules of your home, the system of your home, the tradition, the culture, name it. And then now, because we don't get this, when we come to salvation and we expect automatical convection, where we are going to be converted, immediately into the foundation that has been laid by the apostles and the prophets, where Jesus Christ was the chief cornerstone. And we are missing it. Yes, it's good for us to say yes and yes to Jesus Christ. But then after we said yes and yes to Jesus Christ, we then need to go and do a research and go back to the foundation to see what are those spirits that governs. What are those spirits that governs us? What are those spirits that grew us? What are those spirits that breath, upon our lives, that breath upon our lives? Some homes there will be spirits that will breathe, like homosexuality, breathe upon our lives. Poverty will breathe upon our lives. Family patterns, name it. Divorce spirit, and a lot. Polygamy, because polygamy is not this one that we see, when we see a man that is married to many women, and we see it is legalized. Also, there are people that are in polygamy. If you have more than two women, more than one woman, then you are in a polygamy. Yes, you are in a polygamy. You understand? Because you are dating more than one, whether one woman, more than one man, whether you are calling it a side chick or it's just a friend. So those spirits now that you see in your life right now, the challenges that you have, the things that you are struggling with, your language that you have, you find some of us, we are rude, it's there, it's a spirit there. Some of us, we insult too much, it's a spirit there, But when you go home, what you see is walls. What you see is rondavels. What you see, is flats. What you see is big houses. But when you enter into the spirit, each and every house that you see, it is governed by what? By a certain spirit. That house where you are sleeping into when you were growing up, it is governed by a certain spirit. That house where you used to cook, it is governed by what? By a certain spirit. And that certain spirit is what? Is able to influence. It has influenced you when you were growing up to the person that you are right now. So the conviction now of Jesus Christ cannot be done fully without knowing this insight and without having this knowledge. Because when you have this knowledge, then you're going to know that you need what? A deliverance, and you're going to know that where Jesus Christ has to deliver you from. You understand? Do you understand? Then now your prayer points are going to start coming. Now you're going to start seeing now where you are sick, because without Christ we are sick. Then when we come to Christ now, we have come to be what? To the doctor to be healed. Do you understand? So outside him we have a lot of sickness. Some have chronic diseases. Some have problems with eyesight. Some have bone problems. Some have womb problems. Name it. Do you understand? But you have to know this insight. and do your research as a child of God. So you are not a child of God just in vain. A child of God just in vain is a child of God that has no power, a child of God that has no knowledge, a child of God that does not know where is going or where do you understand? A child of God just goes to church. You understand? You are not doing your checkup spiritually. You are not taking your treatment right, because you don't know which sickness do you have. Even if you know, you don't know how to go and get that treatment. Do you understand? So you have to do a research spiritually, that which spirit has molded me, has influenced me as I was growing up. Do you understand? Which spirit has made me to, because many of us, we are misbehaving. We're misbehaving now, and we don't know that we are misbehaving because of the foundational spirits. You're misbehaving in the church and you don't know why. You are misbehaving now. You are not saved. You are living a life that is unruly. And you don't understand why do you live such a life that is unruly. It is because of the spirits that are there. Those spirits that welcomed you when you were in your mother's womb. How do they welcome you? But through the blood of your mother, you understand? The blood of your father, you understand? They welcomed you. They saw you as you were growing in your womb. When you were given birth, they welcomed you. He says, welcome, baby. And then they began to mold you. And then they began to grow you up. Some children, you find them that they will have a problem of drinking while they're young. They're in high school, they're in primary, they're drinking alcohol, they're smoking, they're doing drugs. And you wonder what is happening, what just happened to my child. It's not what just happened. It's what has been there that has been influencing your child from birth. But now that spirit has reached a realm now into that child's life to do what? To manifest. You understand? Because as parents, we don't have this insight. You understand? When you see your child, your young girl or young boy has impregnated someone, and your young girl is pregnant, it is not because you are saying, no, they just rebelled. No. It's deeper than they just rebelled. There was a spirit from the beginning that has always been close to this girl, influencing this girl, talking to this girl, doing the ministry of this girl. And this spirit knew that Ndobana, in this generation, at 15 years old, the young children, they must give birth. They must be pregnant. Do you understand? Young men, they must what? They must make other young girls pregnant. It's a spirit that grew up with this child. It's not something that just happened. Now you're going to say as a parent, no, they have the wrong friends. No, no, it has nothing to do with that. It's deeper than that. Yes, that could be it, but it's deeper than that. When they were growing up spiritually, there was a spirit that was doing what? That was molding that child, preparing the child to do what? To manifest at 13 years old. That you're going to manifest, you're going to be pregnant, and that pregnancy will be what? Will be rejected. You're going to manifest at 15 years old. You're going to start doing drugs, and you're going to start rebelling. You're going to start stealing from home. You're going to start having older women. Did you understand? And then now, again, you're growing up, you're in a university, you're going to manifest there in that university. You're not going to be serious there in that university. You're going to eat the money of your parents at that university. You're going to frustrate your parents. You're going to be unruly to your lecturers. Do you understand? It's not something that just happened. No, just possess. No. The devil is very wise. Just like us, God does not just rise us up and give us platforms. He first deals with us and trains us, and teaches us and molds us. Even the devil, it doesn't just happen. There's nothing like just suddenly happening from the devil. He starts somewhere. He has to deal with you somewhere, because he wants to make sure that by the time you are manifesting, you are really manifesting. Do you understand? You are manifesting in a way that you don't go back. That is why he has to train you, but he trains you spiritually and you don't know. You understand? When you see your young child, 3 years, she or he is insulting, and you are laughing about it because you are thinking that is a baby. You understand? You're thinking that it's a baby, so you are laughing about it. You don't know that there's a spirit around her that is influencing her, preparing her that by the time of 13, you're going to manifest, you're going to be unruly, you are going to be insulting parents, you're going to be insulting friends, you're going to be insulting teachers. Do you understand? And when that time comes, the mistake that we make, because as parents we are not spiritual, we don't understand this thing. The mistake that we make, we do what? We reject the child, we call the child names, we curse the child, we say all sorts of things because we do not know. My people perish because they don't know knowledge. And who is the knowledge? Who is knowledge? Knowledge is God. Because parents don't have the knowledge of come to God into what? Into early stages, so that they can do what? They can raise up their children in what? In the ways of the Lord. So, children of God, with these words, I just want to say, do a spiritual research upon your life. Because what that thing that is eating you right now, that thing that is stealing from you right now, that thing that is destroying you right now, it did not just happen. It did not come and just surprise you. It was always there, but it was waiting for the time to manifest. The devil is very wise. Sometimes most of the times he hides spirits from us, even from us. You don't have a knowledge that you have a certain spirit, because he wants you to manifest in the time, in a certain, a perfect time that is known by him. Because we do not do a research, and because we are not serious as children of God. We just come and say, I will too. God understands. The Father understands me that I'm not perfect. What is that kind of language? Is that, no, we can't be holy as we are here in this realm? What kind of problem is that? We are not serious. We're not serious about God. We're not serious about the things of God, of knowing the things of God. We are not doing nothing. We just want to go to church. We just want to wear heels and wear makeup. People that wear heels are the people that have been what? That have been lifted up by God. Because heels in the spirit means lifted. You are lifted. So us, we are wearing heels, but we are not lifted. We are doing a self-lifting. We are lifting ourselves. Children of God, let's know this. Let's know this insight. Do a research. Sit down and do a research. Sit down and do a research. Sit down and go and talk to your spiritual parent and say, Father, I have just come to do a spiritual research. What is my problem? What kind of sicknesses do I have? That is a serious child of God. Or you just take some time and say, okay, let me just take some time and go and ask from God, what is my sickness? And if that one is difficult, begin to look into your family right now. And you'll see the trouble that is there. That is your sickness. That is your sickness. As you deal with that, the Lord will dig more of the sicknesses that are hidden over your life. That is when we can receive a freedom in Jesus. That is when we can reach a deliverance in Jesus. So that we can do we can look like him and we can manifest. Otherwise, if we cannot do this, we will always be children that see ourselves pregnant in the spirit, and then there's miscarriages, and then we abort, and then nothing is happening. Today we are on fire, and then tomorrow we are not on fire, and then do we get? Because why? We are not doing a research. We are researchers, children of God. The reason why we have come to God is because we want to do we want to research. The fathers before us, they have touched something from God because they have researched. Even us, as we are following, we must do we must do a research and touch something from God and come and give it to the generation. Do you understand? But we are too lazy. We don't want to research anything. We don't want to learn anything. We don't want to touch God. We don't want to pay the price, because the problem is the price. Because God is the Father is it's very expensive. It's very expensive to find God. Because to find God, it's not this noise that we're making in the church. It's not this man, Father! That's not that. When the Father knows that I'm not there in that noise that she's making or he's making. Do you understand? But the searching for God and the paying of the price is to close your door, and you begin to speak to the Father. And you stay there and speak to the Father, not once, not twice, every day of your life. And receive the daily bread every day. When you want to go and buy bread, you go to the shop and take out money and buy the bread. And you come and prepare. Then why do we want a bread from God where we do not pay anything? He's not going to give us. He will not give us anything. He will not give us anything. We will just be seeing things in the spirit like this. Because the spirit is like a town that is busy. The spirit world is like that too. There's a lot of things that have been released there. There's a lot that is happening there. And also as the spirit of God is breathing, the spirit of the devil is breathing also. So now you cannot tell us that you are seeing things in the spirit where you don't know, you don't even have a sit in the spirit. You don't have a sit in the spirit. You don't have a shoe in the spirit. You don't have a mouth in the spirit yet. We don't know where you belong to. You belong to where? To the devil or to God. So that when we know where you belong to, then you can speak now because we know where you belong to. You yourself, you know where you belong to because you have done a research. And you have went to the what? To the hands of the Father, that is a bath. Do you understand? And you begin to take the what? The foam bath of the Father, which is the blood of Jesus Christ, and you cleanse yourself, and you begin to what? To pour the water, which is the Holy Spirit, and you do what? And you wash yourself. You sit there and you soak yourself. Children of God, let's get this knowledge. You are blessed this Sunday. Get this knowledge so that we can do what? We can represent God very well in this realm. Time is coming. Time is coming.